Hello, my dear friends, fellow travelers, and photographers. In this Christmas day, I wish you a Merry Christmas and I bless you all the best to come in the coming year. And indeed, this will be another exciting episode of my travelogues to Japan. And it's the third episode we are bringing you to a place that a prefecture just out from the Tokyo area. At the same time, it's also a prefecture that contains a lot of historical temple and shrine. And this prefecture is of the name Kanagawa Prefectures. And just a preview of what I'm going to share with you today, we are going to bring you to four very interesting and unique temples, and of which two of them are is garden-like temple. One of them is Hasadara temples, and the next one is actually a monastery. It's called Kotoku-in Monastery, which how the claim to be the second largest Buddha statue or in Japan. And the third one is this very popular holy temple of the name Surugawaka Hachimagu Shrine. And of course, this shrine are stand out among the Japanese while visiting this city is because they classify this temple as the soul of the city. And finally, we visit another very beautiful garden temple, and is named as Meiji-san Temple. So let's commence our tour today to these four unique and beautiful temples in Japan. A quick one: the Japan is located in the Eastern Asian, as highlighted in this world map. And if you will zoom in, we are actually focused on this Kanto region, which basically is central Japan. And if you go further into, you realize that the area they were covering is actually at the southern part of Tokyo, and is in between the two very important bays, the Tokyo base and Sagami base. And the prefecture, as I mentioned over and over again, is a Kawa uh, Kar, Kar, Karagawa prefecture. Sorry for the misspell. And finally, we are actually bringing you to this city, Kamakura City, which is in Kanagawa prefectures. And this city I will consider one of the historic city of Japan, and for one simple reason, because they house a lot of thousand years old temple building. There are many temple building and shrine that have aged almost near to 1,000 years old. So you look at this tourist map, you can see that many location of this temple building have been highlighted. And today we are only going to bring you to four of them among so many. And the first of all, of course, on the list is Hasadara Temple. Now, Hasadara Temple, in a way that you can notice that is located right at the upper section of this map, and is basically next to the Sagami base. And it's for this reason that if you ascend to this upper platform or upper gardens of this temple, you are able to oversee this Sagami base as well as a city. So this is the external view of this temple building, and of course the striking thing to most visitors is still the red gigantic lantern that mounted right at the entrance gate there. And in this image you saw, there is actually an insert. The insert contains a flower, and this flower is of the species which named hydrangeas. So hydrangea is a very popular flowers in Japan, and they planted a lot of this flower. And in this garden, these flowers are planted in abundance. And I was told that they have actually planted more than 2,500 plants of 40 species of these hydrangeas flowers. During blossom, you can see that they come in various colors. Now, these temples compound divided into two sections. First is called lower section and upper section. And the upper section is where the main building hall, the main hall of the temple, or the called Canondu, is located. Now, in this main temple hall itself, of course, is housed a very famous 9-meter tall, gilded in golden wood Buddha statue, which is also known as Kanon's statue, which is built in Campo wood. Yeah, sorry, it's a piece of wood. Now, this great Buddha statue is one of the largest statues of Buddha goddess of mercy with 11 faces and more than 1,000 arms. And it is placed in a temple main hall. And photography, unfortunately, inside the main hall is not allowed. And therefore, we can't have much image to share with you about this popular wooden Buddha statue. So as we enter to the main building, so these are some of the exterior view of this main temple entrance area. And as we enter, this is actually the inner garden, or they call it the lower garden. And in lower garden, they are filled with stone lanterns, as well as many other ornaments items. On top of that, there is a lot of actually Irish ponds, and the Irish pond have reared a lot of koi fish. So you can see the image here. These are the Irish pond that well landscaped, and also you can see the abundance of koi fish in this pond. As a visit is during the autumn season, and therefore we will expect to see a lot of trees live in this garden have also turned into yellowish and goldish and reddish color. So in this image, you can see a lot of the stone lanterns. As we complete our tour at the lower gardens, then we will then ascend to the upper garden, and we will climb through some steps. And this is a passageway we have walked through in order for us to access to the upper garden. But to access to upper garden, we will pass through a mid landing, and in this mid landing, you will notice that they house a lot of jigsaw statue. And the amount of jigsaw statue that found in this mid landing is beyond imagination. It's the largest number I have ever seen during my tour to Japan. And it's believed that this jigsaw statue will protect the women, protect the travelers, as well as protect the parents of those who have deceased early, or unborn babies, the soul of unborn baby, and the soul also of deceased child. And also in this main landing, you will find a small building with house Fukuyo statue, as can be seen in this image. Then we finally arrive at the upper gardens, and you can see that this is the general view, the first impression that you have from the passageway leading to the upper gardens, with the main building on your right, and then you have a long wide walkway, and at the same time, at the far end, you can see is where the setting sun is. So the main temple building is on the right side of this image, and they also have a few other smaller temple building around. They also extended a corner that provides the place of rest for the visitor to have their drink during the visit of the temple. And even nights, when night fall, the visitors still are reluctant to leave this temple. It's for one simple reason: they all want to watch the night scene of this temple, because the temple will be lighted up very beautifully after 7 p.m. And at this high upper section of the temple compound or upper gardens, you can able to have a view over the Sagami base. On top of that, you also can able to view the city. And they lighted up the tree, in using the bright yellowish color light. And for the main building, they are then using a blue light to lighten up. You can see all the main statues that found around the temple complex are all been lighted up as well. This is one of the beautiful corners that are found in this temple building at the upper section of upper gardens. And inside the building, that you can see the house again, another. I can't recall what is it, but this is what been found inside the building that I just shared with you. And of course, at the back of this building, they have a very beautiful bamboo garden, a small one, but very beautiful decorated. So finally, we take some shot of this lighted up temple building. It's the only thing to point to note that for photographers, for those who intend to take night photography of this temple do not allow tripod to be used within the temple compound, such that the photographer will have to rely on some permanent object, or just at a post or barricade or tree trunk to place your camera on, so that you could able to achieve some stable shot, stable image, sharp images at night. And about 8 p.m. it's time for us to go home, so we also descend through the same passageway that we come early on in the late evening. And you can see that they also have lighted up the whole passageway as well as a tree. And the Jesu statue is equally lighted up. It's very beautiful and very impressive at night. And to the lower garden, there's no assumption. They're also using multicolor light to light up the Irish pond and also the stone sculptures around. I found this isolated Jesu statue in the lower temple compound. And finally, we exit from this main temple gate, and you can see that now the red lanterns, the gigantic red lanterns, have been lighted up. And we are now moving on to next temple in this city. Is a monastery, and they name it Kotoku-in Monastery. And this is the only monastery that we have visited in this town. As the location of this monastery has been highlighted in the area circled in red, and it's not far from the Hasodhara temple. And this is actually the tourist map of this temple complex, and you notice that the gigantic Buddha statue are right at the center. Of course, to enter to before arriving at the great Buddha statue, you had to pass through two gates. And before that, of course, you still have to pass through a building, a small building, the house, the purification trough for the worshipper to wash their hand and mouth before they enter to the prayer hall. Few others minor building, and then we found this very antique age lanterns. Now the temple, the great Buddha statue is between views, and I would like to share a bit on this Kotoku in monastery. It is a Jodo-shu Buddhist temple in the city of Kamakura, and the temple is renowned for its great Buddha, all right, a bronze statue of Amida Buddha, which is one of the most famous icon of Japan. Now it's been included in the Kamakura proposal for inclusion in the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage Site. Now the Buddha statue stood about 13.35 meters, which including the base, and currently it is the second largest Buddha statue in Japan. And this Buddha statue is hollow internally and can be entered and viewed from the side. But you need to pay a small fee as to get entry to the internal area of this Buddha statue. So now I'm going to share with you the Buddha statues from all angles, from far to close, right, to close up, as is the only main attraction in this temple or this monastery. This is the rear of the Buddha statue, and of course the building nearby, they hang a pair of rope shoe. And now we move on to this temple, which has been regarded to one of the popular temple among the Japanese, and the name of this temple is Surugaoka Machimangu Shrine. Now, quite difficult to spell this name. And a bit background of the shrine. Now, this shrine is about 800 years old, which is also in intricately linked with the nearly a century of Japanese history and culture. Now, it is located at the center of Kamakura city, and this shrine is widely considered as a soul of the city. It's for this reason that it become very popular among Japanese. Now, the other side of the wide road leading up to the shrine are 2 points. Now, if you were to visit this shrine, now before we go to the image proper, let's have an idea where the location of this shrine is. Now the shrine is at the position that right above the temple. We have checked the monastery that I shared with you. If it's numbered number 2, now we are on the highest point of this city. In fact, you look at this map itself, he is the furthest away from the city center. And at the main entrance from the main road, if you would access to this shrine through the main road, you will then greet with a gigantic red torii. Now, this torii gate, and from this torii gate, if you look inward at the far end, is where the temple is located. And to enter to this through the main access, the main entrance, that you had to pass through this bridge. But of course, the moment the bridge is closed, so they do provide alternate access on both sides of the bridge. And on either side, as you walk through this wide leading route to this shrine, there are 2 ponds on both sides, 2 pond, one each on both sides of the this wide road itself. And this pond, right, it is a way that represent the Minamoto clan. Now the shrine was built in the year 1063. Mind you that is about close to 900 old years, and was then moved to this current location in 1180. That means about 800 years ago. So at least in this location, this shrine already have about 800 over years old. So this is a wide leading routes to the shrine. And of course, you can find 2 gigantic stone lanterns on both sides of this wide access road. So right before the temple building, of course, what we come to view is this stage. A stage, a building that houses a stage for performance. And at the side of it, you found another buildings that house the purification trough. And even the purification trough, the exterior decoration was very, very interesting. As you walk close to the stage been surrounded with a big compound, and this is for the purpose of for the worshipper and the visitor to be gathered around when there's a performance. And at the back of this stage building, you can see a stair leading up, and this stair leading up is leading up to the main temple building. But that look around of this, even the stage building are very well decorated. And around it also have such a beautiful decoration. And of course, you also can find some stone statue of animal. It be a dog, it could also be a lion. They are the guardians to this temple, and normally found at the at the entrance to the temple compound. In this case, places next to the leading stair to the main temple building. So we are now up close to the main temple building. And if you look down, the stage building is at the background of this image. This is a surrounding view of this temple building. Look at the facade and the decoration on the roof. Very outstanding and beautiful. And at this corner, they have actually a place for the worshipper to write the wishes on either on a cloth or on a piece of wooden plate, and hang there with the aim of their wishes that will come true. And at the back of this temple, just at the rear, the side rear of this temple building, you find that there's another extension with a small temple building, and of course, in front of this small temple building, there's another small trolley gate. These temples have been frequently visited by Japanese families, as can be seen in this image. And also interestingly that you can find many parents brought the children here. I was meant to told that there's a custom ceremony, in Japan, that children of age of 3, 5, and 7, and they normally will come to temple and for prayer, for best wishes, for blessing and best wishes. So you also can find some pool rickshaw, tourist pool rickshaw at the main entrance area. It's very common scene in most tourist spots in Japan. And then if you complete a tour of your temple, please do not leave this temple, or rather you must move urgent your visit to the street nearby. And because just nearby this temple, there is a street of the name Komachi Dori, and this Komachi Dori basically is a shopping street which of 2 kilometers in length, and within this 2 kilometers in length of the shopping street itself is housed many souvenir shops, food stall, as well as restaurant. So it is one of the best place for you to shop for souvenir, as well as having yourself indulge yourself in the authentic Japanese cuisine, dessert and snack, which I recommend you become in a free and easy manner, so that you are not bound by any fixed itinerary. Then you should actually allow more time, not only in the temple, visit of this temple, but also to have your lunch or even dinner in this wonderful street in this part of the world. So I will going to share with you some of the shop that selling the souvenir as well as the authentic Japanese cuisine or snack or desserts. We have a wonderful time here as well. We enjoy the ice cream. You can see in this image my tour mates are enjoying the ice cream sold in this shop. If you follow my first episode, you'll realize that actually the Japanese snack and cuisine of all variety. And now we will move you to another Garden Knights temple, and it's also our last stop in this city. Now, the name of this temple is called Magic Sun Temple, but this temple is look more like a garden. Share with you some background of this temple. This Meiji-san temple is also known as Ajisai Temple. It's located in a Kamakura city, and initially this temple established is in the year 1160 as a memorial. But this temple is also a Rinzai-zin temple of the Kenchuji school in Kita Kawakura. And the main object of worship, right, in this temple is the goddess of Shu Cannon. Now, another uniqueness of this temple is that it houses cave-type tomb, which in Japanese is named as Yagura, which serve as a resting places for the regimented samurais and high-ranking priests. It is believed that to be the biggest in Japan. And in fact, it's true that of so many temples I visit itself, that a temple that house a cave-type tomb is very rare, in Japan as well. So the location now is much farther away from the earlier three temples I just shared with you. It's now at the southern bottom of this map, and it's been circled. You can see that it's further away, more close to the eastern part of the city. And if you look at this layout map, you can realize actually at the center section of it, certainly the land become widened, both top and bottom. And this is where the location where the main temple building is located. And after that, we enter from the east. So you enter from the west of this image, and you exit from the east. That means from left to right. And after the main temple building, behind the main temple building are basically classified as inner garden. And this section of the temple compound is rarely open for visitor. And if you would even to happen to open for public, it only open over a short duration of time. It's just for your info. So the main entrance, the faster look of the main entrance, it look very simple. It's exactly just like a residential house, an entrance of residential house. So you're not careful, you can miss this temple in this region. So to really get into the main compound of this temple building, you had to walk through a long leading step, and both sides of the step have planted a lot of hydrangea plants, or scrap, whereby during the blooming time you can find a lot of hydrangea flowers, blossoms. You give a fascinating view of this garden. In fact, the most beautiful time to visit this temple is during the rainy season in Japan. And rainy season in Japan is occur in the mid-June till early July. And during this season, where this flower, hydrangea flowers, is fully blossom in this garden, and also in Hasiddhara temple, which I shared with you earlier on. So now it's off season. Of course, you don't see the flower blossom in these gardens, but it's a very densely landscaped garden and garden temple. I should even more refer it more toward as a garden than as a temple. Certain section of the temple compound planted a fair bit of this bamboo tree. The entire temple's compound are very shady because of abundance of trees, and they also have some place of rest for visitors to have their drink. A very scenic temple to visit. So these are some of the architectures exhibited in the building. Now I must mention that this temple is very famous among tourists and local, due mainly to its hydrangea flowers. And one of the species of the flower of the name Fukama is an ancient Japanese flower species known as Hime Ajisai, which in translate in Japanese, from Japanese, it translates to mean a princess hydrangea, which is bluish in color, right? A flower, the bluish hydrangea flower with bluish in color. As such, this temple is also known as the Temple of Hydrangeas, in recognition of the abundance of these hydrangea flowers. This is a corner where the visitor could have a cup of drink, and you can see that you'll walk past some very narrow passageway, and this passageway leading us to the courtyard, and in this courtyard you will find the cave type tomb. And in this temple building that in this image are easily more than 500 years old. How could we know? It's just from the look, the type of roof they've been constructed. So you will find any building in Japan that consists of this roof itself. These style of buildings are usually of very old age. You still can find a lot of ancillary buildings with statues placed around this temple. Here we come, the cave types tomb. You can see the tombstone inside the cave. And indeed, it's very beautiful temple compound. And in one section, you can even find these beautiful landscapes, gardens. These are part of the buildings, main building, temple building. And finally, we come to this spot where we have to line up to take our cue to take image of this iconic round window. Now, at the back of this round window is where the inner garden is located. And you can see that how scenic is this inner garden. It's only unfortunately that not many days in a year this internal garden are open to public. And these some image also around between the temple compound. And you can notice that actually the residential entrance nearby, next to this temple building or temple, is also very, very old and ages. And it can be seen that this area is easily close to 800 to 900 years old. And it's for this reason I would like to say that this city, where house so many temples, are indeed a historical city. If you were to come to visit Japan and you are interested in temple and shrine, please do not miss out this wonderful city, which is just not far from Tokyo City. And finally, I've ended to my third episode of my travel log to Japan. And if you have followed me till this hour of the day, I'm assuming that you have been entertained. And if you have not subscribed, please help to subscribe, share, and promote these travel logs to your friends and families. And also, taking the opportunity again in this Christmas day, I wish all of you good health, and at the same time, I wish you a blessing, good new year and a coming year. And at the same time, please stay tuned for the next episode, and as I'll see you again next week at the same time. And hope that to see you again, and bye.